Hi, in case you haven't watched my first video, I'm Catherine D'Agostino and I work for Sunset Auto Group. We have 16 dealerships throughout Sarasota, Bradenton, and Venice. Okay, if you haven't watched my first video, I do encourage you to watch that one also, because there are some things in there that can help you, and I'm not necessarily going to duplicate them in this video. I work in sales and leasing, and I work with people with good credit, bad credit, and everything in between. But I do want to tell you that I specialize in helping people get the best possible vehicle they can for the best price and get it financed if at all possible. I specialize in that because I have been there. I had bad credit for years, and I really empathize with you. Over the years, I made an awful lot of mistakes in buying my own cars, and now that I work in this business, I have a much better understanding of how it works, what your best options are, and I found that people just don't really know that. So my purpose in making these videos is hopefully to help guide you, maneuver your way through and get the best possible vehicle you can for the money that you have based on your situation. Okay, there is one thing that I am going to repeat from my previous video because it is the most important thing. Do not make any decisions based on your own assumptions of what you can and can't do. I don't care what people have told you. I don't care what your credit score is. I don't care. Just throw that all out the window. Start from scratch and assume nothing. Because the truth is, you don't know what you can and can't do. I don't know what you can and can't do. The only person that really knows what you can and cannot do is a finance manager after they have reviewed your whole application and looked at your whole situation at a large dealership. The reason that I say a large dealership is because they have the absolute best possibility of getting you financed and at the best possible rate. Now, is it going to be a great rate, 2%? You know, probably not, okay? But it'll certainly be the absolute best that you can get based on your situation. These large dealerships work with a lot of lenders, and they do a lot of business with these lenders. They know all of their options. They can find you a lender that a smaller dealership doesn't necessarily work with, and more importantly, they have more pull. Because they send so much business to these lenders, they can get you financed. If anyone can get you financed, they can get you financed when you might not necessarily have any luck at your own bank or your own credit union. Don't go there. Start at a large dealership. Okay, so here's your plan of action. Again, no matter what your situation is or how bad it is or how bad you think it is, even if it is the worst possible situation, everyone needs to do the same thing. You need to start at a large dealership. If after you do everything I say, you can't get a car through a large dealership, then you scratch that off your list and then you go on to your next option. But I would say, because I have seen this, probably 50% of the people who don't even go to a large dealership because they think they can't, they don't want to be embarrassed and they think that they won't qualify. I've seen probably 50% of those people actually can get financed that way, and they never knew it. And if you don't go there, you can't find out. Okay, so here's what you do. Pick a large dealership that you feel comfortable with in your area, whatever. And when you go in there, do not look at cars. I know that traditionally you find a car, you pick one out you like, you test drive it, and then you start doing the financing. That is how it works most of the time. But in your situation, with your credit situation, that is actually backwards, upside down, the opposite of what you want to do. You want to start in financing and do a credit application and let them choose the vehicles for you. And here's why. It's not cut and dry like you might think. Oh, my credit score is this, so I can qualify up to that. It doesn't work that way. Getting a car financed when you have challenged credit is more of an art and less of a science. And there are a whole lot of factors, and especially when there's a lot of vendors. The finance manager at a large dealership who does this all day long and has seen all kinds of situations has so much more experience than you do, and they will be able to choose the vehicles based on your situation and what you're looking for in a payment and all of that. They'll take all of that into consideration, and they'll say, you know what, we can probably they'll talk to your salesperson and they'll say, have them look at this car or this one. They'll give you a couple options. And the truth is, you don't have as many options when you have challenged credit. You have to realize that these are going to be your best options for getting financed. And your best options are always going to be at a large dealership, because you have to remember that when they take cars in on trade, they inspect them and they evaluate. If they feel comfortable with the vehicle, they will sell it. If they don't feel comfortable with it, they're going to ship it off to auction. And that's where everyone else buys their cars. So your first line of best possible cars are going to be in a car dealership. Okay, so here's what you do. You go in and you sit down with the salesperson right off the bat. You tell them your situation. You tell them you want them to do a credit application, and then have them advise you what to do next. Couple things you should look for. If you go into a dealership and you start right out by talking about your credit situation isn't good, and they kind of blow you off, don't take it personally. It's time to leave. Okay? Not every dealership wants to work super hard with people. Some dealerships are much more motivated, and that's what they do. If they do it a lot, they're very good at it. Some dealerships don't want to be bothered. They just want to go with the people who are easy because they have easy credit. So if that happens, just leave. Don't worry about it. Just leave and go to the next one. Another thing is, if you go to a dealership and you tell them the situation, maybe they ask you what your credit score is. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Oh, maybe it's 540 or something. And right off the bat, they give you some information like, you're going to need $3,000 down or something. Maybe you do need $3,000 down. But the thing is, if they have not taken your application and they have not thoroughly evaluated it, and they're making those statements off the top of their head, guess what? They're guessing just like you were before you ever got there. That's not the right dealership either. If that happens, don't listen to what they say. Whether it turns out to be true or not doesn't matter, because they're guessing. We don't want to guess. We want to know. And so you need to leave and go to another dealership. The perfect dealership for you will sit down. They will look at your credit application. They will look at all of the different factors, and they will choose a handful of vehicles that they feel they have the best shot of getting done for you. You should look at those vehicles. If you find one that you like, that works for you, then go ahead and move forward. So, what happens if you do all of that, and when you get done, they say, we're sorry, we just can't do anything for you? What do you do next? What I'm going to say next is my own personal advice. This is advice that I would give to my own family members. What you should do next is take the cash that you have. This is only my opinion, based on what I have seen. Take the cash that you have and very cautiously start shopping, maybe on Craigslist, through private owners. Get the best possible vehicle you can for cash and drive it to hold you over until your situation improves. And I'm going to tell you why you should not go to a place that is basically a buy here, pay here place. I'm going to tell you a story. I had this really wonderful woman come to me. She was an elderly woman. She worked 2 jobs, bless her heart. And she was driving a 14-year-old car. And she didn't have great credit, but it's okay. I sat her down. We looked at the whole situation. We found a car for her. It was a brand new car. The payment wasn't too bad. She was paying $200 a month. The payment was about, I think, $275. Okay, so maybe another $20 a week it would cost her to buy it. But she would be in a brand new car, not 14 years old, not breaking down, fully warranted. And, let's face it, everyone loves a brand new car. It would have been so much better for her situation. But this is what happened. We could not get her into that car, not because of her credit, but because of that car that she was driving. She had bought it in a less than reputable dealership, I don't know where, whatever, and she was paying $200 a month. She had already paid for a couple of years. She had like 2 more years of payments on it, and she owed $8,000 on that car. And what could we do? We could not take her car as a trade-in because we could not pay her $8,000 to pay off her loan. She was strapped with that loan, and of course she couldn't make both payments. She was saddled with that vehicle. And the saddest thing that really broke my heart was when she said to me, "See, this is why I don't go to dealerships like yours, because you can't help me." And that just broke my heart, because you know what? That was not true. We could help her. The reason that we could not help her is because she didn't come to us in the first place. She had gone to that other place and she had gotten herself buried in a vehicle. So please don't do that. If your situation does not allow you to get conventional financing right now, do whatever you can. Take the little chunk of cash that you have. You know, okay, it's not the best option, but if you can find something to hold you over, that's what you should do. I sure wish you luck, and if you feel discouraged, don't. I promise you it will get better. I know it's a hard road. I have been down that road myself. I encourage you to watch my next video, Tax Refunds for Cars, and I'm going to explain how that program works and at least take a look at it. It might be something that would work for you also. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.